Welcome to the 60 Plus podcast.
I'm Janet.
And I'm Joe. How are you, Janet?
I'm good.
It's kind of an inside joke.
Yes.
I always
that's
ask
it.
Janet how she was, and she told me not to.
I was only kidding, Joe.
I know.
Of course I want you to ask me how I am. That's such a sweet thing to do.
How are you?
I'm great.
Are you great?
Yeah. How are
I'm
you?
doing well, thank you. I had a very nice visit with my daughters over the past week,
Nice.
and I'm back home and raring to go.
Yeah. Here we are. Our
Raring to go.
first episode of 2024.
It is. It is. I
Mhm.
can't believe. Did 2023 go by like in the blink of an eye for you?
Yes. It was very intense. Lots happened in 2023.
Okay. How are you, Janet?
I'm great. How are you, Joe?
I'm doing well, thank you. So what are we talking about today?
So, we're going to talk about some of the New Year's resolutions that people make at 60 plus. We're going to kind of key off of those.
We talked about those in the last episode.
We did, and we discovered that there are three main categories for people in our age group, which are probably not surprising. One is physical. I was going to say physical therapy, but I meant physical
We're of a
fit-
certain age.
where we need physical therapy. Well, here's the thing, physical fitness. So we don't need physical therapy. So we're going to be talking about that first. And then we're going to do a series. So the second one is going to be about the other category where people make resolutions is in self-care, mental health.
Okay.
And then the third category where people make resolutions in 60 plus is building relationships.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do all that today.
No, we're not.
We're talking about physical fitness, not physical
Correct.
therapy
No. Or therapy.
or therapy or mental therapy.
That may be next week.
No, next week is
Mental health and self-care.
no, it's yoga, isn't it?
Oh, well, yeah, that's
We're going to
part of
edit
it.
this out.
Yeah, maybe we are, maybe we're not. We'll see.
All right.
Okay, so today, what we would want to talk about then is the challenge.
The challenge.
The
In
challenge.
capitals underlined in italics with quotation marks around it.
What is the
The
challenge?
challenge was issued to us by Megan Kinsey
At Motivate.
at Motivate Bar and Fitness, I believe,
Mhm.
in Amesbury, Massachusetts. And, well, she issued us a challenge after I had indicated that I had lost some weight.
Yes, and she called you skinny fat.
She's called me skinny fat. Well, let's listen to a clip about that.
You can be skinny fat, Joe. Just put it out there. Did I just say that? Sorry.
You did. You did.
Okay, we have to talk a little bit about what this means for us and what this could mean for our listeners.
Okay.
So, one of the reasons why we had Megan on was that we were talking about the benefits of, working out and fitness for our age group and the importance of working out and fitness in our age group. And Megan revealed quite a bit to us about kind of the threats and the opportunities around that. And one of the things that she brought up, which I guess was a term I really hadn't heard of before.
Are you talking about sarcopenia?
Yes,
I
sarcopenia.
hadn't heard it either.
So we're going to let Megan tell us a little bit about what that is, why we need to really think about this challenge seriously, and how we would love for our listeners to come along if you're not already having physical therapy, no, physical fitness in your daily life.
In all kinds of physical fitness. The reason she brought up sarcopenia was because I had talked about walking.
Yes.
And she said walking's not enough. So
Right.
listen to her talk about sarcopenia, what that is, and why we need to avoid it.
Yes.
As a woman of 52, I understand that sarcopenia is real. And to be fair, if you're 30, I'm talking to you too, because that's when it starts.
What is that again?
Sarcopenia, when your muscles start to diminish, you're going backwards. You're starting to swim in the infinity pool of fitness. You're paddling and not going anywhere unless you do something. So you start losing muscle mass, anywhere from like 1% to 3%.
She pretty much sums it up in terms of why this is important. And she had thrown the challenge down to you originally, and I kind of hopped on
You
bandwagon.
latched on. Yeah, you
I
kind of.
did.
Yeah, just riding my coattails, so to speak.
I was. And, now this is one of my resolutions because I do really want to build more muscle and get stronger. And that's what she basically said is what we need to do, that we're losing that muscle mass over time. It really starts well into your, I guess, it's probably been going on for 30 years.
Well, and I think you have to increase the activity in order to maintain.
Right, right.
So if you really want to increase muscle mass, you really need to increase the activity. And I came across cdc.gov. They say that, well, for people 65 and older, need to do three things. At least 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity activity,
Quick, do the math.
or no math.
What is that a day?
It's 5 days, 30 minutes a day,
Okay.
or 75 minutes a week of vigorous intensity activity. So the 150 minutes can be brisk walking.
Mm.
The vigorous activity could be some kind of aerobic jogging or running for 75 minutes.
Right.
Which sounds exhausting.
But
to
that
me.
doesn't get to the building muscle part.
Well, then the second piece, and again, this is according to the CDC, at least 2 days a week of activities that strengthen muscles. That's working all major muscle groups,
Mm-hmm.
the legs, hips, back, abdomen, chest, shoulders, and arms,
Mm.
and do that 2 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and this is one that we didn't talk about, well, we kind of loosely referenced it, activities to improve balance.
Yes, like yoga,
Yoga.
which we're going to be talking about next week with Ashley.
That activity can be either walking heel to toe or standing from a sitting position. Just
Getting up and down.
kind of like, I imagine it's almost like squats.
Right. Well, and that was interesting that because of Megan talking about how you should be able to get up off the floor without using your hands to get up.
Right.
Like that is a metric of your physical fitness.
And we have both tried to do that. And fortunately, we both can do it.
Yay!
Yay. Even with my knees, I can do it. So let's see. What counts for building muscle mass? Lifting weights,
Mm-hmm.
working with resistance bands, doing exercises that use your body weight for resistance. So
Right.
push-ups and sit-ups.
Like Pilates and bar.
Mm-hmm. Dig in a garden. That's interesting.
Wow.
Well,
I spent a lot of years digging in the garden.
so you've dug a hole, right? That's hard. That's
it is
hard work.
Especially where you live in a place where it's all rocks.
And the last thing listed on the CDC website for muscle strengthening: do yoga postures.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, because you do have to hold yourself up. Planks and downward dogs and all of that. That you're holding your own body weight, and yeah, it's good stuff.
Maintaining and increasing muscle mass helps you with balance.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is one of the biggest problems for older people for injuries?
Well, falling.
Falling.
Right. And that it gets back to the whole concept of sarcopenia. That is what leads to falling.
Mm-hmm.
So that loss of muscle mass is not just about, being toned and looking great, but the loss of muscle and strength can happen when someone gets older and does less physical activity. And I'm quoting this now. This may cause trouble with daily activities like standing from a chair, walking, twisting the lid off a jar, or carrying groceries. Over time, loss of strength can lead to falls or other injuries. And, Megan had talked about being able to carry your own body weight.
Mm-hmm.
And remember when she had us do the baseline? So we did do the baseline,
We
folks.
did do the baseline to determine where we are in
Right.
all of this.
And she talked a little bit about metrics, and we're going to have her again talk in her own voice about that.
I never heard the expression skinny fat before. I don't know how I'm going to take that because I was so proud of the 30 plus pounds that I
Really proud. And I
lost.
do not mean to undermine that. You should celebrate that in a huge way. With that said,
You know what the other way to say with that said is?
but we are in the age of Ozempic and things of that nature. When you get small and it includes your muscle mass, your metabolic flexibility gets diminished markedly. And that means that you're setting yourself up for potential future failure. Strength training resistance training. It can be your body weight too. And increasing protein are two fantastic ways of guarding yourself against fragility, aging in a way that doesn't kind of feels like you lack control. And you got to do it. You can't just think about it. I get it. Thinking is nice, but doesn't check the box.
Yeah. So, what did that mean for us? That meant that we needed to go, and she put us through a series of exercises to determine how strong we were, also to determine
Stamina in some
stamina,
things. Right.
longevity, like how many push-ups can we do? How much weight can we carry?
There were a number of exercises that we did. Some of them were weight bearing. What did you think was the hardest thing to do? I know what it was for me.
What was it?
The bear crawl.
Yeah, the bear crawl's tough.
The bear crawl was walking on your hands and feet with your kind of butt up in the air and just going until you couldn't go anymore.
Right.
It was very awkward to do. I'd never done it before.
Yeah, it was awkward. But if you think about, playing with your grandchildren, right? Like you are going to be down on the ground. They're going to be running around. So if we think about, yes, there's the threat of sarcopenia and falling and all that, but the opportunity, of course, is greater here. Having that longevity, being able to, having the stamina to keep up with your grandchildren, going on long trips, whatever it is, being strong is very empowering too.
So for balance, CDC says strengthening back, abdomen, and leg muscles help your balance, and that reduces risk of injury from falling and other fractures. This is one that I wouldn't have considered as a way to do that, but walking backwards.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That's funny. I actually have been told to do that.
Have you?
And I do it on the beach.
Do you?
Yeah, in sand, which makes it even a little bit more interesting.
But less risk if you fall.
Right, exactly.
It's hard to walk backwards.
That's why I do it on the beach too. I'm not going to fall into a hole or whatever.
And you're not going to bump into something.
Yeah.
Other ways to do it is standing on one leg or using a wobble board. I've seen those wobble boards.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of those. I had a near-death experience on a skateboard one time. I'm exaggerating, but it was kind of funny, actually.
Did you see the white light or anything?
The person who I almost hit with the skateboard as it shot from under my feet, I think, saw the light.
Oh, gosh.
At the end of the tunnel, yeah. So we've accepted the challenge and we'll be going to the gym, right?
Yeah, and we did the baseline. And I don't know about you, Joe, but I walked out of there not feeling very good about myself. I thought I was actually in pretty good shape. I do yoga and I walk and, I do a little Pilates and I do my
dancing
and my sit-ups and my push-ups and my this and my
I hate sit-ups.
that.
I hate sit-ups.
I love them.
No.
Love them.
There's very few things in life that I really hate. I hate sit-ups.
But you know what? The core is the most important part. This is going to be fun, I can tell. Listen, we're supposed to be motivating our listeners.
Yay, sit-ups. Yay, sit-ups.
We want
so much fun.
If you don't already have a program, come along with us on this challenge. And, get a baseline. See how much, you can lift. See how many push-ups you can do. See how many sit-ups you can do comfortably. And let's see the progress that we can make.
And then we're going to check in periodically and see how things are improving.
Right. And so we both did sign up for, can we mention where? Planet Fitness. And they have a very interesting little program. It's like a 30-minute.
A 30-minute workout. So a good friend of mine from college who, he's retired now and he's a listener of the 60 Plus podcast, but suggested that we do the 30-minute circuit at Planet Fitness. It works all major muscle groups in 30 minutes. We've done it.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times now. You were away. I was doing it while you were away.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
I was eating.
But you know what? I'm starting to feel more muscle, like in my abdomen.
Are you?
And in other places. I'm not going to mention.
Okay.
So yeah, it's working.
So that's a good way to start. I don't think that that's something that we're going to do throughout this whole challenge. How long are we going with this challenge?
So Megan had suggested that we do another pulse on where we were 6 weeks into it.
Okay.
So maybe like the middle of February,
All right.
we might check back and see, did we get stronger? Can we do more bear crawls than we did before? Things of that nature.
I should have waited until after I was away and eating like crazy to
Well,
do
I
the
have to
baseline
say
thing.
that day that we did it, I kind of did take it easy a little bit because I was tired. So I don't know. I may have given myself a leg up on that.
You were cheating.
No, that's not cheating. I was just tired and I didn't want to hurt
You were
myself.
supposed to do these things until you couldn't do them anymore. The bear crawl, it was
and I
until you dropped.
And I decided when I couldn't do it anymore because I was tired.
Okay, you were
Yeah.
cheating.
That's fair. It wasn't cheating.
It's fair cheating.
You were being very competitive too, by the way, when we were
I
doing
was doing
that.
what I was
Yeah,
supposed
you
to
were.
do.
I saw you like sweating bullets, like trying to keep up with me on some of the things.
Oh no.
Like, yeah, like the sit-ups.
I hate sit-ups.
I know. Well, I love them.
No,
They're so good.
they're not good. All right, so what's next?
I think what's next is we have to be real with sticking to this. Remember, this is also one of our resolutions.
We know how long resolutions last.
Well, now, see, you are not.
January
you know what,
17th is
Joe?
resolution
I don't
quit
think
day.
I like your attitude. It's not
You
very
you sound like Miss
motivating.
Hatch, my 4th grade teacher.
Joseph, you need to sit in the
I
corner.
don't like your attitude, Mr. DBAs.
So, yeah, I mean, we have to be positive about this. This is a good thing. You know, we're going to be battling sarcopenia left and right,
Mhm.
center, and the opportunity again is to be stronger.
Yes, no, I agree. And I'm I'm
healthier.
just kind of trying to be a little
So
funny
stop
too.
being, you know, a
Negative?
Debbie Downer.
Okay. Wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
When should we talk about this again? When are we going to check in and let people know
Well, if
how
we
we're
do
progressing?
the baseline in the middle of February, let's say,
All right.
we'll talk about it after that.
All right. So are we issuing a challenge to our listeners
We are kind of, but
Mm.
in a friendly way.
in a friendly way?
Like, come along with
Not-
us. Yeah.
Not competitive like I was at the baseline.
No, oh
measurement.
my God, he's so competitive. You're competitive on the pickleball court, too. I noticed
Isn't
you
that
have
the
this-
point?
You have a little smirk on your face whenever you're
Sometimes,
winning.
yeah, no,
You
sometimes
really
I do.
And we're like, wipe the smirk off his face. Come on, let's get him.
I do see people on the other side of the court saying, "All right, we can't let Joe win."
It's okay. A little,
Smash it at
a
Joe.
little friendly competition doesn't
yes,
hurt
that's what it's-
anybody.
Isn't the point to win?
Right. But we're not competing with our listeners. We're
No.
just inviting them.
Inviting them to come along.
Let's get healthy. Now, if anybody else wants to do dry January,
No, that's the one I will not
I
be
think
doing.
I'm on my own with that one.
You are. You are. All right. Next week we're going to be talking about yoga. I think.
As part of the whole
As part of the
fitness, as well
challenge.
as like we talked about balance and all that good stuff. But it's also from a mental health standpoint too. I think we'll hear about that as well.
Okay.
There's so many benefits to yoga.
There are.
Yeah.
I've done it a couple of times. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
If you suggested hot yoga, I'd say no.
Oh, you know, it has its place.
Well, does Ashley do?
No, she doesn't.
Okay, good.
She does mostly restorative, or well, I'll have her talk about it. But
This is
It's-
like a preview of next week's.
yeah, it's almost like giving yourself a massage. Really, when you go to her class, it's really nice.
Oh,
But,
really? Okay.
yeah, I mean, I think there's so many different types of yoga, and they all have their different benefits for different things. I mean, hot yoga is great for letting
Sweating,
out toxins,
being hot,
being sweaty.
being sweaty.
I'll
Yeah.
never forget the time I did a class, and it was a lot of young people there, and a lot of them,
Millennials.
and a lot of them had their shirts off and everything. Ooh, and
Just the men, I assume.
yeah, the men, and of course, and there was this guy in front of me, and he was sweating so much, his sweat started pooling and running down towards my mat. I was like, oh my God, I have to get out of here. I can't do this. I don't want somebody's pool of sweat in my face. It was not pleasant.
That's hot yoga. All right. I think we're out of time here. We're going to be hearing more about this in future episodes.
Yes.
But, for 2024, it's not going to be all about health and mental
No,
health.
no.
We're going to do our other.
We're gonna get back to our,
Regular
real
routine.
talk and Mythbusters and all that. And of course, again, we always have an invite to share your ideas about what you would like to hear us talk about. Please contact us.
Contact us. You can leave a comment in the Spotify comment section,
Right.
or you can send an email to 60pluspodcast@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
60 plus
Right.
podcasts, all spelled out.
Plus, we're also on Instagram now.
Instagram, you can send us a message on Instagram
Facebook.
Facebook.
Lots of ways.
Lots
to
of ways
reach
to
out.
reach out to us.
And please do. We love to hear from you all.
And I think we talked about this at one time. We have a Real Talk episode coming up. Well, it'll be this month by the time people hear it. Janet has a birthday in January.
Oh,
And we're gonna do a special Real Talk episode with Janet,
Oh.
where we ask Janet 10 questions and she's gonna have to respond.
Oh dear.
So
Are they going to be the same questions? Or are you going to?
haven't decided yet.
Oh dear.
Haven't decided yet.
I'm feeling vulnerable.
So stay tuned for that. And my resolution that I revealed last week was we're not going to miss a week
We are not.
of the 60 Plus podcast for 2024. So tune in every week. The episodes drop Wednesday mornings at 5 a.m. on
If you're up that
Spotify.
early.
On Spotify, 5 a.m. Eastern time on Spotify. Your podcast player may pick it up a little later than that.
Right.
Tune in every week. Leave a comment. Let us know you're listening. And until next week, I'm Joe.
I'm Janet. Bye.